Here's a look at some of the other notable action across college hoops. These numbers courtesy of our friends at CBS Sports. Look at the one next to the name, Auburn. For the first time in program history, the top-ranked team in the land. They're laying 14 in their first go-around as #1. That's at Mizzou. Kentucky, meanwhile, laying 9.5, trying to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, taking on Mississippi State. And then there it is, Zona, UCLA, late night. We'll have you covered here on HQ. Let's get our guy in the mix. The maestro, Larry Hartstein, joins the show. Larry, let's start out west with Zona laying the 2.5 on the road to UCLA. Bearcats, they've been one of the more profitable sides in college hoops this season. Take us through your thought process here in this matchup and what pick does that lead to?
For this one, Joe, top 10 matchup. First lean has to be, the first look has to be UCLA. They've beaten them 5 straight times. Fans will be back at Pauley Pavilion, and Arizona is playing its 3rd road game in 6 nights. All of that said, I'm laying the lumber with the Wildcats. Since they lost to Tennessee, 5 straight wins by at least 16 points. Tubelis, their #2 scorer, went through shoot-around today. Looks like he'll give it a go on the ankle, but even if he doesn't, they are just absolutely loaded. And you look at Tiger Campbell, he's really struggling. I believe his thumb is bothering him. 10 for 36 over his last 4 games. Johnny Juzang has been amazing, averaging about 25 points during that span. He's going to have to do more than that to keep up with Arizona. Arizona, the only team in the nation, top 10 in offensive efficiency, top 10 in defensive efficiency. Let's lay the points.
All right, I like the play. Elsewhere, #12 Kentucky laying a big number at home against Mississippi State. Spread's 9, total coming in at 142. Kentucky, fresh off that loss to now #1 Auburn. Is this a tailor-made bounce-back spot for them, or is that number maybe a little inflated?
It could be inflated because this is also a sandwich spot. They've got a trip to Kansas on deck. So this is a game between Auburn and Kansas against lowly Mississippi State. Has not won on the road all season, and Kentucky might be missing both its point guards. Ty Washington is out. Severe Wheeler, questionable. That's over 11.5 assists. If you give me 9 points with the team that has been competitive against Kentucky without either of its point guards in a look-ahead spot, I'll take the points.
All right, speaking of Auburn, the Tigers going to give it a go with the 1 next to their name for the first time in school history. They're laying a robust 12.5 on the road to Mizzou. Larry, we always like to weigh motivations when we're making our picks, and this is an Auburn squad feeling themselves right now. We saw that post-game party shirtless at center court on Saturday. Letdown spot here, or just the perfect moment to cement their top spot?
Joe, every single sharp in the country believes it's a letdown spot. That's why we've seen this line crater from 14 down to 12.5. But I'm going to go the other way. You know, Bruce Pearl was in this position 14 years ago at Tennessee. His team knocked off Memphis. They were #1. They were the toast of the town. And what did they do? They lost to Vanderbilt the very next game. He has been warning the Tigers about this spot. You know, Missouri beat Alabama, so he is going to get their attention. But you do look at Missouri, the last 3 times they faced a ranked team. Alabama was not ranked. They've lost by at least 25 points. The talent gap is so big here. If Auburn brings its focus and the number down to a more reasonable 12.5, I'll still lay it with the Tigers.
All right, let's take a look at the plays from the maestro. Late slate. Stay up. Watch it with us. Numbers courtesy of our friends at CBS Sportsbook. Arizona laying the 2.5. Larry's not worried about that. He likes Zona in this matchup despite the recent head-to-head between those 2 storied programs. Mississippi State and Kentucky going at it. He's taking those 9 points with Mississippi State. As for Auburn and Mizzou, Auburn coming off that emotional win, laying 12.5. But Larry says it's a little too short for #1.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.